Hi everyone, it's Tammy with Frou-frou Studio. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to start my February design team project for Sweet Pea Curiosities. You can find all her beautiful digitals on Etsy. Under Sweet Pea Curiosities, you do need to capitalize the S, the P, and the C. I encourage you to go over there and check out her digitals. Marisa does a wonderful job. And also, she has a YouTube channel or Instagram where she posts her the journals that she makes. She's a beautiful maker as well as a digital designer. So for this particular make for this month, I am using 3 different sets of hers. I'm using the mixed media Cowgirls, which has just these beautiful images of these little girls dressed up in their cowgirl best. And you get 2 sizes. You get one this size, and then you get one this size. This one's been fussy cut, but here I'll use this one so you can tell better. One this size on the page. And they are just gorgeous little girls with cowgirl hats on and just the most sweet faces. Some of them are sepia and some of them are colored. There's more color than the sepia or black and whites, but they're just gorgeous. And I had some fabric that I wanted to use, and so I thought this kit would be great to combine with that. Look how sweet she is. So yeah, that's the first kit that I'm using, and I've already cut these up, so that's why you're not seeing the little ones. The second kit that I'm using is the grungy envelopes kit, and it just has, this is just a partial that I've cut up to use, but they have just these wonderful grungy envelope images, and they're in several different sizes. You can see these are a lot smaller than these, and they make great pockets in your journals, journal cards. You know, there's several things that you can do with these, and I'm going to show you a couple options for pockets today. And then the third kit that I'm using is the Painted Shacks, which I have used before in a, like a Grandma's Attic type journal. So they work well for that. I've also used it in like a farm journal. They work great for that as well. And I had a few of those leftovers, and I thought the colors and everything went really well. Again, these come in various sizes and various buildings and colors. So that's the 3 kits that I'm going to be using. And like I said, today we're going to start with ephemera, because I'm not sure what kind of journal I want to make or how I want to put it together. So I'm going to start at the beginning and get some ephemera pieces going and see if I can get an idea of what I want to do. And I will show you my fabrics as well. I got these off Etsy. Too, and I did not write down the name of the person that I purchased this from, but they do have lots of fabrics available. And this is like a replica, those are some little quilt pieces, of a mid-century kind of Western pattern that you would have seen on curtains and bedspreads and things like that. and I just love it. I love the colors. And then I got this little gingham to go with it. And I think my cover is probably going to be, you know, this fabric, but I just haven't decided what kind of journal I wanted to do yet. So, that's my starting point. So, let's get started. I've got some things ready to go and cut out and piled up here. So this is the first thing that I have, and this is made out of craft envelopes. Get my little pieces stuck. And it's just 3 envelopes that I cut the flap off of. And then you glue just down the middle when you're gluing them together. And along this edge. And you leave the sides open so that when you put it in your journal, you can pull it open like this and it'll hold ephemera. And then down in here, I've got some little, like here's one of the shabby little shacks that I just kind of made like a little, put it in a little frame. And then I have this little, some little digitals that have horses on them. In this one I have a little horse print. And in this one I have another little horse print. So yeah, they're just good for storing ephemera and stuff like that. And they're not too bulky. I mean, they do cause a little bit of bulk, but they're not too bad. And like I said, it's a great way because you can put it in your journal and, you know, glue the back, and then you can pull this open and you've got 3 nice size pockets. Or you could do it this way depending on what size your journal is, and then you can pull it this way. So you would glue it that way and pull it up this way to get it open. I'm going to be working on it this way. So I have cut, this is a piece of a old folder that I had that would have had a come on Tammy, spit it out, a cabinet card in it, and it was just the folder. There wasn't a picture in it, but I like the texture of this because it reminds me kind of leather. And so I want to put this on here. And then I have one of the shabby shacks, which is actually a barn, that I want to mount on there. And then I want to put her, and like I said, I did fussy cut her out. I want to put her on there. And then here is one of the grungy envelopes, and I'm going to put it across the bottom here and make a pocket. And then I have just a couple little decorative tags that I want to put just to kind of finish this off. So it's going to look something like that. And this is one of the Tim Holtz stamps. It has a horse on it, and I went ahead and stuck it on there because it was sticky on the back. And so I wanted to go ahead and just stick it down so it wouldn't be sticking to everything. So yeah, something like that. Okay, so let's put this one together real quick. All of these are going to be pretty quick little makes. So first, let's put our pocket on here. So I hope everybody is doing. This is just a piece of leftover scrap that I had with some gingham from when I did my farmhouse journal, and I thought it worked well. And I'll just back these with some book page just to make them a little sturdier. Because I did just print it on regular printer paper. So we're going to glue that down right here at the bottom. Then I'm going to glue these two little pieces on. So what do you guys do? Do you start with ephemera and then build a journal? Or do you build your journal first and then do your ephemera? I actually do both because a lot of times I have something in mind for the ephemera before I know kind of what kind of journal I want to make. So it just depends on what I'm working with and you know, if I have an idea of what I want to do before I start. A lot of my ephemera is pre-made from where I do challenges. I saw it on Pinterest, that kind of thing. And so I try to first go through, you know, stuff I've already made to see if I can use any of that depending on what kind of journal I'm doing. But if I don't have anything, then like in this particular case, other than bits and pieces that I can kind of use, you know, where I've made a base like this, I don't have an idea of, I don't have any stash, is what I'm trying to say, for a particular make. If it's something that's not typical. No, I think that's just adorable. And I'm thinking I might put a grommet up here in the corner. And I have some suede little strappy stuff. This, I have just a little bit of it left because I've done a horse journal in the past. So if which is one of my favorite journals I've ever done, and I think I'm going to try to do another one this year. I'm going to call this journal I Should Have Been a Cowgirl because I just love horses and my cowboy boots and that kind of thing, but I just never had the place to have a horse. I grew up mainly at the ocean. My daughter had one for a while. She was her husband got her one. She was an older barrel racing horse that had been retired, and the owner was giving her away. And my dad has property in a fenced-in field and all that, and so they kept her there, and they didn't live far from my dad, so they could come and feed her and that kind of thing. And but not long after she got her, she got pregnant, and her OB said, nope, no horseback riding for you, my dear. And so then she just kind of became a pet and a field grazer. And she was still very well loved. She just was not ridden very much, which I'm sure she was glad. She'd probably been ridden enough in her life. She was quite glad to be just a pasture horse. And then eventually, I mean, she was quite old when my daughter got her. And then eventually she passed away, and by that time my daughter was having her second baby, and so they didn't get another one. But her name was Betty Boop. She was a sweetheart. Big old quarter horse. Okay, so there is our first one. And that will slide right down in there like that. So we have our first piece of ephemera, and I think that is just adorable and very useful. All right, number two. Number two is really easy. I took a piece of the Western fabric, and I did most of this one off camera because I had to go to my sewing machine. And I just mounted it on some cardstock, and then I put some tea-dyed paper, and then I messy stitched all the way around it, and I put this little fabric kind of scrappy strip at the bottom, and I fussy cut this little girl, and then just to kind of break up her from the fabric, I'm going to put this little sticker behind her head, and then just this number here on the side. And we're going to have a cute little tag. Just like that. And I think that's adorable too. So let's get that down. And like I said, this is a sticker. I'm not sure where I got these. I think I got these off Amazon, but they look like tea-dyed paper or whatever that's been kind of burnt around the edges, and they come in several different patterns in the pack. And this is just a partial piece. The other piece has been used on something else. If I can get the back off. Here we go. And it's got pretty strong sticky on it, so I think it's gonna stick on here just fine. And then I'm gonna, like I said, glue the number down. And then I'm going to glue her down right at the top of that little fabric swatchy thing. You'll see on the back, there's weird pictures on the back. I started printing these out and did not realize that my nozzles needed to be cleaned on my printer, and it put those little annoying lines in my prints, and so I had to reprint a few, and I didn't want to waste the cardstock because I'd printed these on cardstock, so I just turned them over and printed it on the other side because I knew in most cases they were going to be fussy cut out or glued down or whatever, so there's no need to waste paper if you don't have to. And I keep putting glue on her face because it's on my finger and I just keep on touching it. So I'm going to take my little glue eraser here. I got mine at an art store, but I have heard that the Dollar Tree has them. I've never seen them there. But if you have a local art store, I'm sure they have them. Oops, I don't want to mess her face up too bad. I don't care if it has a little bit of a mess up on it. I would rather have mess up than glue. So I'm just going to hit that with a little vintage photo. And go with it. Alright, so there is make number 2. Just a tag for me to stick in a pocket at some point. The gingham, you can see, is quite a bit dirtier than the original. See? All I did for that is I squished my vintage photo pad down on my glass mat, put some water, wiggled the fabric all around in there, scrunched it up in a ball and let it dry. And then I inked pretty heavily on the fabric as well so it wouldn't look as new. Same for my little fabric strip down here. I did the same thing, just kind of rolled it around in the vintage photo. Okay, now we're going to do a belly band. And for that I have 3 images from the kit that I have used the decal trimmer to cut around them. And I have this is a faux envelope, tea stained, coffee stained. I can't remember which they call it, but I got it on Amazon. And it has like probably 3 or 4 different color variations, from, you know, pretty dark to there's one that's got stripes in it. And it's a pretty good alternative if you don't want to mess with the coffee or tea dye stuff. And it's a really good product to use if you are selling journals and you're shipping them overseas, because I'm sure you guys have heard horror stories about people trying to ship journals overseas and them being torn up or never reaching the destination because the dogs at the customs smell the coffee and they you know, tear open the package to see, because they think you're smuggling drugs. And so they tear the packages open. So this is a great alternative for that. And I myself hate, and I know hate is a strong word, but it's appropriate in this situation, hate to dye paper. And usually my real coffee dyed or tea dyed paper I order off Etsy from Godspeed. She does an excellent job. She's very quick shipping, and her here's another variation. You can see that one's a lot darker, and she does just a bang up job for me. Her prices are reasonable, and I would rather pay somebody than do it myself because it really stresses me out. I don't really have a place to put it to dry, and I think that's part of the reason that I get so stressed about it. But anyway, I don't like it, so I buy it. Alright, so this is going to be my journal card. This is a digital too that I had left over from my horse journal. So I'm going to put this on the front of this, which is kind of an old quilty looking pattern, and it's been backed with some of the faux coffee dyed paper to make a big huge journal card to go in my under my belly band. Spit it out. This horse print that I'm gluing up is printed on newsprint, so it's really light. That's an excellent way to build some layers in your journal without building a lot of weight, is to use excuse me, use this newsprint I'm still struggling with the scratchy throat, so forgive my coughing every once in a while. It's still really weird weather here, and it's just got me all messed up. We did have some really bad storms last night and some tornadoes in the area. And if you're in the area that got hit, thoughts and prayers go out to you. I hope everyone is doing okay, and just remember, you know, material things can be replaced. The important thing is that you're safe. Alright, so there is my journal card, and I'm going to leave it just like that because I think you could, you know, put a quote here if you wanted, and certainly right on the back, and I think it's stiff enough that it's going to work. Now, for the belly band, I am going to seal this up, and you can see that I trimmed this envelope. This is like an envelope. Here are some of the envelopes, full size. These are all stacked within each other, but it's a business, you know, like a business size envelope. And I just cut the bottom off to make my width smaller so I can make a belly band. So when it sits in the journal, it'll sit like this. And I guess I'm kind of determining the height of my journal by making this ephemera because I know it's going to be at least this tall. So there's that. That decision's kind of been made for me. And actually, when we make the next piece, I'm determining this width as well. So I'll at least know. Excuse me, I have a candle lit, and I'm gonna close that up because I think that is part of what's bothering me. Okay. All right. So then what I want to do is I just want to take these three little girls and just kind of stagger them up here, up the belly band, like that. But let me glue this shut. And I am going to leave the bottom open so there's a pocket there. So I have to be careful when I'm gluing this that I don't glue that pocket shut. So I'm going to glue it just like if I was closing the envelope up to send a letter in it. If I can get my glue to work. It's always that first thing in the morning deal. Just doesn't want to cooperate where it's been setting all night. Alright, and then if I look down in there, see those little flaps? I want to glue those down as well so nothing will stick when it's being slid in and out of the pocket. Okay. Now, let's glue our little ladies down here. Again, I just trimmed around them all the way around with the decal trimmer. I'm just gonna kind of glue them just a tad askew. You do the one on the top first. Because I don't want to glue it over the edge because I think that is probably the max height that I would want. The belly band to be in the journal. All right, and then I've got 3 little word strips or labels. This one says 223 West. These are just to add a little bit of extra decor. And then this one says Big Girl. And this one's a Tracy Fox, I think. And then this one says Reward. And then I'm going to take one of the bigger envelopes. I think I'm going to use this one with the blue. And put some tea-dyed or something on the back of it because right now it just says wood page. And this is going to be our journal card. So let me see what I can find here to back it with. some file folder. Yep. Alright, so I'm going to use this file folder. Put my pen and my glue, because Lord knows I'm having enough problems with it already. Alright, and I'm just going to use Pritt stick for that. Okay, get my little smushy tool. And this little scraper, if you're interested, is just like a ice scraper that came from Lowe's, and it comes in a pack of like 3 or 4 of them, I think. If you're interested in one of those or where I got that, I'm sure you can get them other places too. And then this top edge is straight cut, so I'm going to straight cut it. Oh, need to move it over. And then the 2 sides are more like a decal cut, so I'm going to use a decal trimmer. And trim off the 2 sides. Sorry, I know that thing is annoyingly loud. Alright, so now let's ink around that, and then we've got us a nice little journal card that can go in the pocket part of the belly band. So this will go in here. So there we go. There's piece number 3. All right. Last one is a pocket with several little tags and things in it. So when that doesn't go with that. When I started this project, I made myself a master board, and I cut it. Of course, you can cut it into tags or whatever you want to, but I just took an ugly piece of scrapbook paper that had something kind of light on the back of it, and then I covered it in all my little scrappy bits that fit in with the colors and also with the patterns and things. Like this is kind of like a bandana. There's some ginghams. There's some leather look. And I made a big old master board. I had some little scrappy pieces left over from my horse journal. And I didn't really have anything that was like a full piece of scrapbook paper, and so I chose to make a master board and cut it into journal cards to use in the journal. And then the reason I chose to do all journal cards, I thought, well, if worse comes to worse, I can always trim it down and make some tags too. You obviously can cut those up however you want to cut those up once you have your 12 by 12. So I made my journal cards. I think they're about 5. Let's see. This particular one is 4 by 5.5 because I wanted it to fit in this pocket. Again, this is one of the envelopes, and it is been cut to 5 1/4 by 3 inches high, so 5 1/4 by 3 inch, and I just, you know, kept it in an envelope, sealed it up, and kept it in an envelope to make my pockets, and put a couple of book corners on it to kind of fancy it up. So now what I have is I have one of the little grungy envelopes that I'm going to put on here, and I'm going to glue this on out like a pocket as well. So when I glue it down in my journal, I'm going to have a pocket that would be all the way behind it. I'm going to have a pocket that's the actual envelope, and then I'm going to have a pocket here. So it's going to be a 3-pocket deal. So I'm going to glue this pocket on first. Okay, so there's that. And then let's work on the journal card. So for the journal card, I took one of the larger images and fussy-cut around it. And I'm going to use her on my journal card. Ink her up here so we don't have any white edges, and she's just printed on cardstock to give her a little bit more substance about her. So she's, again, I messy stitched around this with a zigzag stitch. And then I have this Montgomery Ward replica piece that is stirrups. No, it's not. It's bits. Mouth bits for a horse. And I just want to put this on there to kind of break up the background from her just a little bit. And I'm just going to place it just kind of inside my stitching area. And then she'll go on top like this, and I'm going to place her like right at my stitching line. I think better use art glitter glue for that, just because even though once I got my masterboard done, I did go over it with a coat of matte gel, like a heavier textured one, and it did seal everything down really nicely and gave me a smoother surface. But I'm thinking, because since I did that I probably should use the art glitter glue instead of the glue stick, so it'll grab. Alright, and then I have this red number 6 that I'm just going to put down here to bring in another red element. And then for the topper, I cut a tab out of the kind of bandana looking piece. And I have this little piece of crochet. So I'm going to put it down first. And then I'm going to glue the tab on. And then I have this piece of denim that I mounted on some cardstock, and then I put 2 grommets in with another piece of the suede. And I may have to use Fabri-Tac with this, but I'm going to try to get by without it. I'm thinking maybe if I glue it down and then clamp it and give it a little bit, it'll dry. And then the last thing I have is one of the Tim Holtz stars. That I painted with red acrylic paint. And then went over it with like a walnut stain crayon to give it kind of a more aged look. And we're going to put that on her and make her a little sheriff. Too cute. So that's our journal card. So let me get my clamp here. Let's see if I can clamp down this top part and let it dry while I'm working on the other pieces. Alright, now I have this little ATC that has horses on it and little puppy dogs. And all I did was glue some tea-dyed paper on the back of it and folded it up so you'd have like a little writing space. Just like that. So I'm gonna put that down in there, and then I have this little piece that is just like a piece of scrap paper, and it has some graph paper on the back of it, or ledger paper on the back of it, and I'm going to make a little tag, and I'm going to use no, I'm not. I started saying I'm going to use the slot. Yeah, I think I will. The slot badge holder punch, and it's so it'll make a slot rather than a circle, like that. And then let's find a little piece of denim. Do we want to use a piece of denim? Yeah, I think that'll work well. We'll just put a piece of denim in here. And then I'm just going to staple it. You could, of course, sew it if you wanted to. I'm not going to staple it because I don't have any staples, obviously. So I'm going to glue it for the time being till I fill my stapler back up. And then that can go down in there. And then this should be attached well enough now. And then this will go in the actual envelope pocket. And then, like I said, when you glue it down in the journal, you could glue it so there's a pocket behind it too. So of all the pieces we've made, this one is the most bulky. And the reason being is because we put that star on there. Now, I could have put the star up higher, up here somewhere, and it wouldn't have, you know, caused quite as much bulk in the envelope. And I keep missing the pocket. And probably been a better choice, but I liked the idea of making her a little sheriff. Alright, so there we go. There are 4 pieces of ephemera. So we've got our little pocket here. We've got our belly band with our pocket and our 2 journaling cards. We've got our little fabric tag with our cute little girl on there. And then we have our little fold-out ephemera holder. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. And hopefully by the next time I come back to this journal, I will have a better idea of what I want to do as far as the layout and so forth. So I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. Be sure and go over and check out Marisa's digitals. She has some beautiful ones. I'd like to have every single one of them. She does have some for Easter and Valentine's, and she has a summertime kit that I can't wait to get my hands on. And yeah, so go check her out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.